football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 2 in the league where they play. For pay! Great to be back with you. The best audience in all of YouTube is right here as we come off one of the wackiest, wildest, crazy, exciting, exhilarating week ones in the history of the NFL. You cannot make up what went on over the weekend. There was so much craziness all over the league, it was hard to keep up. That's why we love the NFL. It was super exciting, game after game, coming down to the wire. Wild and wacky stuff all over the league. Let's see what week 2 brings. Let's get it going. Week number 2, pick number 1. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas. Jerry's World. How about them Cowboys? Where the Cincinnati Bengals are now -6.5 against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas opened up as a 2-point favorite. That was before the Prescott news that he'll be out for a while. So now the Bengals are a 6.5-point favorite on the road. We'll start with the Bengals. Bengals 0-1, lost to Pittsburgh. There was a ton of crazy games over the weekend. This might have been the craziest, the wackiest. I mean, I cannot even get into half the stuff that went on in this game. The Bengals, first of all, committed 5 turnovers in this game and probably still should have won. But they miss an extra point at the end of regulation. They miss a field goal in overtime. They don't challenge the apparent touchdown by Chase when he's at the goal line. You know, instead they run up to the line to try and score. They end up not getting any points on that. Then the bad clock management, that was another thing. All over the league, bad clock management. And Zach Taylor, the coach of the Bengals, we all loved him last year. He did not have a good game. Listen, he should have challenged the Chase play at the goal line. Instead, he's running up there to run a quick play. They end up getting no points out of that. Then, with 50 seconds left in overtime, the game's tied. 50 seconds left in overtime. I think the Bengals are around midfield. They have to punt. The clock is running. The Steelers have no timeouts. There's 15 seconds left on the play clock. You have to run that all down and then punt to Pittsburgh. No. They punt with 15 seconds left on the play clock. And the Steelers had no timeouts, gave the Steelers an extra 15 seconds to get down the field. And that's what cost Cincinnati, because sure enough, with that extra time, Pittsburgh gets down the field and kicks the game-winning field goal. Terrible clock management by Zach Taylor in this game, the coach of the Bengals. Deplorable, awful. And we all loved him last year. He had a bad game. He had a bad game. You have to run the clock down there, and he had to challenge that play at the goal line with Chase. I mean, you're racing up there to run a play, and you end up not scoring any points. Oh, the Bengals, they must be sick the way they gave away this game. 5 turnovers, and they still should have probably won. Oh, so Zach Taylor and the Bengals have to be heartsick, and this is coming off the tough Super Bowl loss from last year. This was a brutal way at home to start the season against your arch rival Steelers, who you've had nothing but failure against in big spots. Nothing but failure in big spots, you know, with the exception of last year. But my goodness, this was a terrible, terrible loss by Cincinnati, and Zach Taylor had a bad game. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys. Lost to Tampa Bay. Lifeless. Didn't do anything on offense. Lost 19-3 at home. Scored 3 points on their opening drive, did not score the rest of the game. Dallas did not score the rest of the game. 3 points at home. 3 points. And I understand Dak Prescott got hurt. He got hurt later in the game. He didn't play well again. And by the time he got hurt, this game was long over. And I know Prescott during the week last week was complaining about his foot because he was trying to break in new cleats. I don't want to hear it. You had all off-season to break in new cleats. You had all preseason to do it. So you wait a couple days before your opening game to break in new cleats. If you're an athlete, you know you can't do that. You know you got to break in your new shoes, your new cleats. It takes a little bit of time. So I don't want to hear that. And I don't want to hear about the other injury he got at the end of the game. Because by then the game was over. Enough excuses for, with Dallas. And I know Prescott's going to be out a while. First they said he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Now they say he may be back a little quicker. The writing is on the wall again with the Dallas Cowboys. They're overrated. They're overrated. They're overhyped. I'm tired of them. And again, I said this last year and probably the year before that and that and that and that. I've been fair to the boys. I've been fair to Dak Prescott. I picked him a lot. I say good things about him a lot. But let's make no mistake about it. This team would screw up a one-car funeral. Year after year after year, time and time again, this team falls on its face in a big spot. Since 1996, when we get past the glory years of Aikman and Emmett and Irvin and Jimmy Johnson, since 1996, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, 5-11 in the playoffs, have never made a championship game, no Super Bowls. This is the Dallas Cowboys. Whether it was with Parcells, or Phillips, or Garrett, or McCarthy, it's the same thing year after year. They are underwhelming and overrated. That's what they gave you on Sunday Night Football. 3 points. 3 points. Didn't score after their opening drive. What happened to this high-octane offense that we all loved? Dak Prescott, 14 of 29, 134 yards in his building. Elliott, 52 yards rushing. Lamb, again, 2 catches, 20-something yards. He was a no-show in the playoffs. He's a no-show here. He's doing his impersonation of the Invisible Man. He's no Michael Irvin. I understand Gallup's hurt. I understand Cooper is gone. They can't do more than 3 points. And now with Prescott gone, now you got Cooper Rush in there. Yeah, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is now the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys as of now. And now we're going to hear all the Jimmy Garoppolo rumors to Dallas. Cooper Rush sounds like a country music band. Who are you going to see tonight? I'm going to see Cooper Rush. Oh, what's their big song? Down Goes Jerry Jones. Oh, okay, yeah, I know who they are. That's the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, Cooper Rush. And Dak Prescott, who I've been very fair to, has been underwhelming. He can be a tad overrated as well. And I've been fair to the boys, and I've been fair to Prescott. Enough is enough. That's what they laid down in week 1, prime time Sunday night against Brady and the Bucs. And the Dallas Cowboys put up 3 points at home and didn't score after their opening drive. Embarrassing, deplorable. This is the Dallas Cowboys. Where's Jerry Jones now? What has he got to say now? The Cowboys got to be more viable in week 2? Shut up, Jones! It is hard to believe how overrated this Dallas Cowboy team continues to be. I am shocked at how bad they played in that game. 3 points? 3 points at home! Are you kidding me? Overrated. And I don't want to hear any Cowboy fans tell me I've been unfair to them. That is a total lie. Erroneous. Erroneous. I even picked them last week. I thought they had a good shot of winning this game. What was I thinking? Trusting the boys again. I am so tired of their act. I am just tired of it. Let me say it again. Since 1996, the boys are 5-11 in playoff games. They've been out a million times in the first round, wild card round. No championship games and no Super Bowls. And you can't blame Garrett anymore, and you can't blame Wade Phillips either. So now all you're going to hear about is let's get McCarthy out, bring Peyton in, and he'll be the savior. Oh, that's coming. It's coming. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. That's all you're going to hear about now. Even if Prescott gets back, the writing is on the wall. And yeah, maybe they can squeeze into the playoffs. They will let you down in a big spot. That's the Dallas Cowboys MO. And to all those people, when the Cowboys had that big record a few years ago when they went 14-2 in the regular season, when they were telling me that Prescott's better than Aikman and this team's better than the Cowboy years of the Cowboy teams of yesteryear, please, quiet down. Dak Prescott is not better than Troy Aikman. Lamb is not better than Irvin. And those teams back in the 90s would kick this team's butt up and down the field. Up and down the field. I remember some guy was woofing at me 5 years ago saying, oh, you picked against Dallas one week. Yeah, I picked against Dallas one week. That year I picked Dallas 15 to 16 weeks. I picked against him one time, and the Giants beat him, oh, by the way, and he was woofing at me. He was woofing at me. How could you possibly pick against Dallas? I don't want to hear about that either. I've been fair to the boys. Enough is enough with this team. Overrated. Cincinnati -6.5 in Dallas, just on general principle. In a two-team teaser, I'm going to move it to basically pick them and take Cincinnati. I cannot trust Dallas. You know, when Dallas opened up as a 2-point favorite with Prescott, I was going to move the line and take Cincinnati. I'm definitely going to take them now if Cooper Rush is quarterback. I cannot trust Dallas anymore. And Cincinnati, they should have won last week, and they're going to be angry this week. And they have a lot of talent on that team. I trust Cincinnati more than I trust Dallas. Cincinnati pick number 1 in the Big D. Who they? That's pick number 1. Pick number 2. This is the Monday Night Football game, and there's 2 Monday Night Football games next week. There's one at 7 o'clock on ESPN, and there's one at 8:30 on ABC. Not sure why, and they still have the Sunday and Thursday night game this week. So you got 2 Monday Night Football games next week. Let's go to Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly. With the Philadelphia Eagles on -2.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are 1-0, beat Green Bay. How good was Jefferson over the weekend, the receiver for the Vikings? The guy was open all over the field. Green Bay had no answers for him. Jefferson was awesome. Awesome in that game. Vikings laid it on Green Bay. Vikings 1-0. Philadelphia, they're also 1-0. Held on and beat Detroit. Had a big lead. Detroit rallied late, but Philadelphia held them off. They went for a big 4th and 1 at the end of that game and got it. Hurts did some good things. This is a very intriguing game on Monday Night Football. I'm going to move it to 8.5 and take the Vikings because I think this is a field goal game either way. Hard to pick a winner straight up, but I do like the Vikings if I can get them in a 2-team teaser at 8.5 points. So I'll go Minnesota there, pick number 2 in a nice Monday Night Football game. That is pick number 2. Pick number 3. Let's go down to Baltimore. And oh, by the way, I wore my John Hopkins shirt today. John Hopkins, prestigious university located in Baltimore, Maryland. Well, the Baltimore Ravens are at home, -3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. This is an excellent game. Baltimore 1-0, beat the Jets. Kind of ho-hum in the first half, but they pulled away in the second half, just what you would expect. Miami 1-0, beat New England. I think Miami's going to be a really good team this year. With Tua, Waddle, Hill on offense, good defense, I think Miami's going to be a good team. I think they're a playoff team. 1-0, beat New England, shut New England down. Biggest play of this game, it's 10-0 right before the half. Miami's got a 4th and 7 around midfield. You think they're going to punt? No, they go for it. Crossing route to Waddle, he ends up going in for a touchdown. 17-0. That broke the game wide open. New England never recovered. Miami is a good, solid team. You saw that at the end of last year. And give Tua credit, by the way. A lot of people got on him. He's a pretty good quarterback. And he had a serious injury. And they have weapons now with Hill and Waddle. Good defense. I like Miami. I think they are a playoff team. This is a very good game again. This is a field goal game either way. I'm going to move it to 9.5 and take the Dolphins. Very tough game. Hard to pick a winner straight up. But I like Miami with 9.5 in a 2-team teaser. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the New England Patriots are -1.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers 1-0, beat Cincinnati, as I mentioned before, in just a crazy, wacky, wild game. The Steelers forced 5 turnovers and probably should have lost the game. TJ Watt, that's the big story coming out of this game. Tears his pectoral. You would think he'd need surgery and miss the whole season. He's exploring other options where maybe he can miss maybe 2 months. I don't know about that. I don't know if we're going to see TJ Watt the rest of the year, and that's a shame. Torn pectoral, we'll keep an eye on that. Then you got New England, oh my. 0-1, got manhandled by Miami. The offense has major issues. Mac Jones had an injury, but he should play this week. Offense looked anemic. They got major, major troubles on offense, New England. Remember, no McDaniels there. He's the coach of the Raiders now. So now the play calling goes to Matt Patricia. Yes, that Matt Patricia with the pencil in his ear all those years with the Lions when I bashed him. And Joe Judge. Oh, yeah, that Joe Judge. So Patricia and Joe Judge are now running the offense for New England. That's a little scary. And they didn't exactly light it up down in Miami. Now, New England usually doesn't play great in Miami. It's only one game. I didn't like what I saw at all from the New England offense. And I think they got some goal making New England favorite on the road here in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's notoriously good at home. I know no TJ Watt, but I don't think New England should be favored here. I thought Pittsburgh should be favored by 1 or 2. So I'm going to move the line to 7.5 and take Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is always a good home team. Notoriously good at home, and they love playing New England at home. They're going to be up for this game, Pittsburgh. Coming off a win, New England in their building, they'll be up for it. They'll at least hang in the game. I think the wrong team is favored here by 1, 1.5, whatever it is. So I'm going to take the Steelers in a 2-team teaser plus 7.5. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from where I am here, with the New York Football Giants, a -2.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina 0-1, lost to Cleveland. They fell behind big, rallied late, but then lost at the end. Mayfield loses to his old team. Mayfield is the most talked about athlete in all sports. And enough with him. Enough with Mayfield. Enough with Mayfield. I'm sick of hearing about him. Sick of hearing about him. Just like I was sick of hearing about Johnny Manziel all those years. I'm sick of hearing about Mayfield. He's the most, talked about athlete, ever. I'm sick of him. His commercials are funny and all that, but I'm sick of hearing about him. He's not a great quarterback. He will never be a great quarterback. Then you have the Giants. They're 1-0, beat Tennessee. What a great win for the New York Giants. You watch the first half of this game, and it's like 13, I think it was like 13-0 Tennessee, and you're like, oh, this is the same old Giants. They're not doing anything. It's going to be another long season. Now, I thought Tennessee kept the Giants in the game. It probably should have been more than 13-0. But the second half, the Giants flipped the script. They come all the way back, go for 2 at the end, and win the game. What a tremendous job by the Giants. Jones played well, did a lot of good things. Had one bad interception that Daboll, the coach, got on him for. Had one bad interception in the end zone, but I thought overall played well. Threw some nice deep balls, did some things with his legs. I thought Jones played well. Daboll, what a great start for him. He goes for two and he wins it. Giants looked inspired in the second half. Barkley hugging the coach. They look like a totally different team. Now, it's one game. Can they do it consistently? Can Jones do it consistently? Anyone can have one good game. Anyone could have one great game. Can you do it consistently? But that was a great start for the Giants with the new coach. And Jones, which could be his last year if he doesn't play well, I thought he played well, minus the one interception in the end zone. So that was a tremendous job by the New York Football Giants coming back on the road against a good Tennessee Titan team. As far as this particular game, Giants at home minus 2.5 against Carolina. This is another one of these, field goal games down to the wire. Just like both of these teams played last week. Should be the same type of game. So again, I'm going to move the line to 8.5 and take Carolina. I'm not ready to start saying the Giants are going to be blowing out teams. Sure, they might win this game, but if I can get Carolina with 8.5, I feel pretty confident. I'll go that way. 2-team teaser. Carolina would be plus 8.5. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6. Let's go to the Motor City in Detroit. The Detroit Lions are minus 1.5 against the Washington Commanders. And I have to get used to saying Commanders. I despise that name. Just like I don't like the Cleveland Guardians in Major League Baseball. But I guess I'm going to have to live with it because no one consulted me on the new name. How dare they? Detroit 0-1 lost to Philly. Same MO for Detroit. They give up a boatload of points. They fall way behind. They rally late, but fall just short. That's been Detroit lately. Washington, they're 1-0, beat Jacksonville. They get up 14-3. I'm like, wow, Washington's going to blow out Jacksonville. No. Jacksonville, for a lot of the game, dominated the game and then took the lead. Washington, though, at the end, rallied and won. Wentz made some big plays. The rookie Dotson 2 touchdowns. So a nice come-from-behind win for Washington. Wentz really needed that. The last thing he needed was to lose to Jacksonville at home in his debut at Washington. So Washington gets the W. By the way, Chase Young, he'll probably miss half the year. He's hurt, still recovering from his knee injury. So he'll probably miss half the year. We'd like to see him back on the field. He's a fun player to watch. So Detroit at home minus 1.5 against Washington. I mean, again, how could you pick this game straight up? Do you really like either team? Are you really going to run to the window and say, yeah, I love Detroit straight up. I love Washington straight up. Not me. So if I had to play it, 2-team teaser, move it to 7.5, now I like Washington. Because again, and I've been repeating myself the first 2 weeks, I think this is a field goal game either way. So I'm going to move it to 7.5 and take Washington. It's that close. That's pick number 6. Pick number 7. Let's go to the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Who dat? I said, who dat? The Big Easy. Mardi Gras. Yeah. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are minus 2.5 against the New Orleans Saints. Buccaneers 1-0. I mentioned they beat Dallas. Brady just keeps on keeping on. The ageless wonder. By the way, Julio Jones is on Tampa Bay. That's a nice little pickup for them because he doesn't have to be the man there on offense. They have so many weapons. He can just kind of slide around the background. He'll help them. So Tampa Bay, a solid win on the road against Dallas. Defense was dominant. And then you got the Saints. They're 1-0. Beat Atlanta. Fell way behind in this game. Looked terrible. Come all the way back and win it at the end. They were a team that also had bad clock management but got away with it. No way should Winston be spiking the ball with whatever it was, 25 seconds left. He shouldn't have spiked it there. They could have got closer. They ended up kicking a long field goal, but they left time for Atlanta. Atlanta misses a 60-yarder at the end. I believe Koo got his kick blocked at the end. So bad clock management by the Saints, but they got away with it. They made the long field goal, and Atlanta missed their field goal on the backside. But the Saints early in this game were terrible, but then they just flipped the switch and they rallied all the way back. They got a big turnover. They got a big fumble recovery when they were down 23-10, flipped the whole game around. Winston did some good things in the second half. They got some weapons with Thomas back and with Landry, so they have some weapons. Not an impressive win by the Saints, but a win nonetheless. As the coach said, if we play like this again, we're not going to win many games. He's absolutely right. They were very lucky to win this game, but they did win. Tampa -2.5 in New Orleans. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to move it to 8.5 in a two-team teaser and take the Saints. The Saints usually play well against Tampa Bay and Brady in the Superdome. And that place is going to be jumping this week. Off a win, Brady coming in with the Bucs. Oh, that place is going to be jumping. Jumping. They are going to be on fire down there in New Orleans because they love to party. And what better way to party than have Tom Brady coming in the house? Saints an underdog. I'm going to take a shot, move it to 8.5, and I'm going to take the Saints to at least keep it close because they played the Bucs and Brady well in that Superdome. Who dat? Who dat? Saints. Pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the Mile High City in Denver, where the Denver Broncos are -10 against the Houston Texans. Texans 0-1 tied Indianapolis, got off to the big start, fell apart late, end up with the tie because Indianapolis misses a field goal in overtime. So the Texans with a tie. They were inspired. The crowd was great in Houston. They get the tie, which to me is considered a win for Houston. Denver 0-1 lost to Seattle. And the story of this game, again, bad clock management at the end, and Denver in the red zone could not stick it in the end zone. 3 times inside the 10, 3 field goals. In today's NFL, that's not going to get it done. And it came back to bite them. And what were they doing at the end of this game? What were they doing at the end of this game, Denver? Terrible clock management, letting the clock bleed out. They got all these timeouts left. Don't you think they should have got a little closer? I know the Denver kicker has a huge leg, but you're asking him to make the second longest kick in NFL history on the road. And the thing I didn't like about it, he was on an angle. He was on the left hash. And you saw that first practice kick he took when Seattle took a timeout. He kicked it wide left because he's on that angle, so he's trying to curve it in. And again, on the second kick that counted, same thing, wide left. He's on the left hash. When you're kicking that long a distance, you are just really trying to focus on getting the ball there. But when you add in the angle, that makes it an even harder kick. And that's why I wouldn't have tried that kick, and I would have went for it on 4th and 5. That's why you got Russell Wilson, isn't it? That was asking the kicker to do too much, and the angle really made it hard from that distance. On an angle, too hard. Too hard for me, and sure enough, he had the distance, but wide left, not once but twice. Once on the practice kick, once on the real kick. And I didn't like the way Denver handled that whole end of the game. Bad clock management. They should have got close. Terrible. But story of this game from a Denver perspective, and we'll get to Seattle later, they couldn't stick it in the red zone. They're inside the 10 like 3 different times. Field goal, field goal, field goal. That's not going to get it done in today's NFL, especially on the road. Not a good way for Russell Wilson to start. Talk about having egg on your face going back to Seattle. And we'll get to Seattle, as I mentioned. They were all over Russell Wilson. there was a lot of venom there. So not a good start for the Broncos and Russell Wilson. Now, having said that, they have the perfect rebound here game in their building in the Mile High City. Denver -10 at home against the Houston Texans. This is for all you three-team teaser lovers, 4-team teaser lovers, super teaser lovers. This is a game for you. If you're one of those type of people that bets those type of teasers, you're going to want to take Denver this week. Denver is not losing to the Texans in their building off a loss, and Denver is a notoriously good home team. I know the Texans had some flashes last week of playing decent football. They're not going into Denver and winning. Denver will rebound in a big way here. Denver, 3-team teaser, you want to move it to 1, super teaser, whatever. Denver's going to win. That's pick number 8. Pick number 9, and this will be kind of the same theme. Let's go to Los Angeles where the LA Rams are -10.5 against the Atlanta Falcons. Rams 0-1, lost to Buffalo. Game was tied at the half, then Buffalo blew them out in the second half. Stafford was not good in this game. He got sacked a million times. Cooper Kupp had another big day, 13 catches. This guy's unbelievable. I think this guy was out of Eastern Washington. It just goes to show you, not everyone can be a great player, but a great player can come from anywhere. Cooper Kupp is an example of that. So the Rams off the loss to Buffalo, and they have the long week, more time to prepare, another home game here. And then you got the Falcons. Oh, they must be sick. They're another one. 0-1, lost to New Orleans, as I mentioned. They're up 23-10 in the third quarter. Mariota runs the ball inside the 5. Just think of that. They're up 23-10, third quarter. Mariota runs the ball inside the 5. Fumbles the ball. The game completely flipped from there, and it avalanched on Atlanta. And in typical Falcon fashion, as they've done so many years, including the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they fell apart. And the Saints clip them at the end. This was an awful loss for Atlanta. They did so many good things early, and they let it all slip away. Listen, again, like the last game, as I mentioned, for all you 3-team teaser lovers, 4-team teaser lovers, you have to include the Rams in that group, right? Whatever it is, move it to 1.5 the line, move it to whatever, pick them. The Rams are going to win, is what I'm going to say. Use them in your big teasers. The Rams are going to win the football game. Next, that's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go to the Dog Pound in Cleveland, Ohio. Ruff, 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 ruff. With the Cleveland Browns are -6.5 against the New York Football Jets. Cleveland 1-0, beat Carolina. Cleveland had a huge lead in this game, then let it slip away, then rallied back to win. Nice road win for Cleveland overall, though. Like I said, Cleveland can win some games with Brissett. I was watching a lot of people say Cleveland's going to go 0-11 without Watson. They're not that bad. They have a lot of talent on this team, and Brissett is not that bad. I'm not saying he's great. He's okay. He can, bide just some time. Maybe by week 11, Cleveland's like 5-6, 6-5, and then Watson comes back. And then you can make a run from there. Cleveland has talent. They're not going to go 0-11. Or now, 1-10, as a lot of people are saying. They can win this game, obviously. That would be already 2 wins. So the Cleveland Browns are at home, -6.5 against the New York Football. The Jets 0-1, lost to Baltimore in just another listless, lackluster performance. Did nothing in the game. Hung in the game early, but just couldn't get anything going on offense. I think Flacco threw the ball like 60 times, didn't get anywhere. The Jets. We'll see about the quarterback. I don't know when he's going to be back, so you may get Flacco again this week. Who knows? How about the Jet coach, the gall of Saleh? The gall of this guy. And again, I liked him when they hired him. Loved him as the defensive coordinator for the Niners. I thought he was a very good hire. Feisty guy. Last year, he looked lost. Got to give him some time. It's only fair. Looked lost again on the sidelines this week. Jets still listless. How about him after the game? He's taking receipts That's what he said. To all, for all the people that are bashing the Jets, like he's going to stick it to them when the Jets have a good year. Well, it's not going to be this year, Mr. Saylor. It's not going to be this year. And you're going to get on the Jet fans for complaining? Do you realize what this franchise has been through since Joe Willie Namath? Do you realize the ineptitude? Do you realize what it's like to be a Jet fan? They're second-class citizens in their own stadium. It's really a Giant Stadium. It was always called Giant Stadium for a while. I know they call it something else now, MetLife Stadium, whatever. But they're second-class citizens there. They're always second banana to the Giants. And putting that all aside, the Jets have had so many miserable seasons. They're another one that would screw up a one-car funeral. In 52 seasons since Joe Willie Namath and the famous win over the Colts, in 52 seasons or around there, since then, the Jets have had 14 winning seasons and 38 losing seasons. And those 38 losing seasons were not a lot of 7-9 seasons. They were a lot of 3-13s. And since 2016, the Jets have gone 5-11, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9, 2-14, 4-13 last year, and 0-2 this year. I'm sorry, 0-1 so far this year, but I'm going to pick against them this week, so I'm going to count it as 0-2. That's a total since 2016 of 27-72. And the Jet coach is going to say he's taking receipts to get on the Jet fans? Shut up. Shut up. Pipe down. Win some games. Win some games, okay? Taking receipts. The Jets are lucky at this point that they can score a touchdown, okay? He's taking receipts. Oh, please, please. He's another one. He keeps this up and he's going to be out on his ass pretty soon. Because I don't like what I see at all again from the Jets. It seems like that same old feeling. Lifeless last week. Just dead on offense. Did nothing. Nothing. I'm taking receipts. Well, you can take my receipt for the last 6 years at least. And I'm no Jet fan, but I know a lot of Jet fans, and I feel sorry for each and every one of them. They've had to endure a lot, and I got to listen to this guy taking receipts because he's going to stick it to you when he wins a couple games? Yeah, get back to me when that happens. As far as this game, Cleveland at home, -6.5 against the Jets, I'd move it to pick them and take Cleveland because I can't trust the Jets. And I know Cleveland's playing with Brissett, but the Jets may be playing with Flacco. And to me, Cleveland's more talented. They're home. They're coming off a win. They should manhandle the Jets. As I said last week, you can't trust the Jets. Until they start winning some games, I will keep picking against them and keep winning. Cleveland, pick number 10. Pick number 11. Let's go down to Jacksonville, Florida, where the Indianapolis Colts are -4.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Colts tied Houston, fell behind big 20-3, then rallied back, should have won the game, missed a field goal in overtime, thanks to a couple things. Again, why are teams playing for long field goals? You saw a lot of bad clock management and teams playing for long field goals. On third down, when the Colts are trying to set up the game-winning field goal in overtime, they have Matt Ryan rolling out. Rolling out, that's not Matt Ryan's game, rolling out at his age. And he ends up losing 3-4 yards, pushes the field goal back. Now, it's still a makeable field goal, but do you have to go backwards there? And then Blankenship just kicks a complete disaster of a kick that goes wide, right. Awful kick. Looked like one of my golf shots on the 17th tee. I mean, just an awful kick by Blankenship, who looks like he's... You ever see his get-up out there? He looks like he's from the movie Revenge of the Nerds with his glasses and that get-up. Oh my goodness, what a terrible, awful kick. All over social media, they've been wanting, the Colts to cut Blankenship this week. That's not going to happen, but that was an awful kick. Cost them the win, so the Colts settle for a tie, of all things. So the Colts, -4.5 in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, as I mentioned, 0-1 lost to Washington. Fell behind early, rallied and controlled a lot of the middle part of this game, then fell apart at the end. and left a lot of points on the board. Lawrence had a bad pick early. Just threw the ball up for grabs. ETN, who's back from injury, he had a couple of bad plays. He had a wide open walk-in touchdown, dropped the ball. Then he had another one inside the 10 where he actually caught the ball but fumbled and it went all the way backwards. So the Jaguars are inside the 10 like twice and they come away with like 3 points. So they left a lot of points on the board, Jacksonville. I think they missed an extra point in this game as well. Could have won this game, fell apart at the end. Did show some improvement overall, though. Standards are low for Jacksonville. So even a loss, I'll give them a little credit. Showed a little bit of improvement. I'm going to move the line to 10.5 and take Jacksonville. Home opener, like I said, they were a little improved last week. Could have won the game on the road. And the Colts were choppy. They were choppy. They were sloppy. They rallied late, but settled for a tie against the Texans. If I can get 10.5 with Jacksonville at home, I think they're going to keep it under that number. Not one of my favorite plays of the week, but I'll go that way for pick number 11. Jaguars plus 10.5 in a 2-team teaser. Pick number 12. Let's go to the desert in Las Vegas. The black hole, the new black hole. The Grim Reaper. Darth Vader. With the Las Vegas Raiders, a minus 4.5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Raiders 0-1 loss to the Chargers. They lose in McDaniel's debut as coach. Carr was awful in this game. 3 interceptions. And he also, in a play in the end zone, threw the ball behind the receiver, which should have been a touchdown. You have to settle for 3 there. Carr was not good in this game. Not good. And the Raiders took a lot of injuries. Got to keep an eye on that injury report. A lot of guys left the field for the Raiders, especially on defense. And then you got Arizona. Then you have Arizona. Did anyone play a worse game outside of like Dallas and the Jets than the Arizona Cardinals? Did anyone play a worse game than Arizona? 0-1 lost to Kansas City. They got carved up. They got carved up like a Thanksgiving bird. And we're nowhere near Thanksgiving right now. That was an embarrassing performance by Arizona, especially the way they ended last season. I know Hopkins is out, and I know J.J. Watt is out. J.J. Watt is not the same player anymore. I know he'd help with leadership on the field. But let's not make him out to be Lawrence Taylor right now. They got carved up from start to finish in this game. They showed no resistance on defense whatsoever. The Chiefs did whatever they wanted in this game. Then Arizona on offense, they're bumbling, they're stumbling. Murray's out there. He's another one, drives me crazy. The good news for Arizona is everyone in the division lost. You're going to get Hopkins back eventually. I think the offense will be okay. The defense scares me after that game. Now listen, that was against Kansas City. But still, you're an Arizona fan. You have to be worried. And I'll tell you, Kingsbury looks like he's going to go. I don't think he's going to last as the coach. That was the difference between a Hall of Fame coach and a great coaching staff in Kansas City and an inexperienced coach in Kingsbury who could be out after this year. You saw the difference there. To me, I was disappointed in both of these teams last week. I would look for the over in this game more than I'd look for the actual game. I think the over is around 50 points. I like using over and unders in teasers. So say in a 2-team teaser you want to use this game and you want to bet the over and say it's 50 points. So you move the spread down 6 points to 44 and then you bet it over. Because I would think there's going to be a boatload of points in this game. Both defenses look like they're going to give up some points. I think both offenses are going to be able to score some points. So if I'm playing this game, I'm looking over. Probably in a teaser. If I had to play it, I guess I go in a teaser. I'd go 10.5 with Arizona. Don't feel all that confident in it. And if you like the Raiders to win, I could not argue with you. Could not argue with you. But to me, the way I would play this game, over in a teaser. Whether it's a 16 teaser, 9-point, 3-team teaser, whatever. I would look for the over because I think both teams are going to score a lot of points. Both defenses were, to say the least, shaky. That's pick number 12. Just win, baby. Pick number 13. This is the other Monday Night Football game. This is the early Monday Night Football game. This is the 7:15 game on ESPN. Let's go up to that madhouse in Buffalo, where the Buffalo Bills are -9 over the Tennessee Titans. Buffalo 1-0, bombed the Rams in the second half. Buffalo is legit. We all know it. I didn't think they were going to beat the Rams that bad. They did. It's only one game, and there's a long season to go. And you don't win the Super Bowl in September. I told you, you got to be hot at the end. Buffalo looked mighty good. Mighty good. And then you got the Tennessee Titans. 0-1, lost to the Giants. Again, what is going on at the end of the game with Tennessee? They're getting in field goal range to potentially kick the game-winning field goal. And Tannehill, I know he's trying to center the ball. I understand that. But does he have to go backwards 4 yards to make it an even longer kick? You saw this all over the league. Bad clock management and playing for long field goals and going backwards before you kick the ball. Why was he going backwards? And the announcer of that game did a terrible job because he was calling like a 45-yard field goal a chip shot. 45-yard field goal, my friend, is not a chip shot. And I know the kickers have big legs these days. 45 yards is still not considered a chip shot. 25, yes. 32, yes. 45, no. And then when Tannehill went backwards, it was getting near a 50-yard kick. And sure enough, the guy missed it. When you play for long field goals and you start to go backwards, you usually get burnt. But Tennessee blew this game long before that. They should have been up 3 touchdowns in the first half. But you know Tennessee, they play close games. That's the way they are. That's why they're so tricky to predict. When they play bad teams, they're in close games. When they play good teams, they're in close games. They should have buried the Giants in the first half. They did not. They let the Giants off the deck and it burned them. That was a bad way to start the season for Tennessee. As far as this game, Buffalo -9 against Tennessee. I mean, my goodness, that's a boatload of points. But it's hard to go against Buffalo as far as I can't see Buffalo losing at home on Monday Night Football here. So to me, it's another 3-team teaser game, 4-team teaser game, super teaser game. Where you move it down, you take Buffalo to win. And like I said, I know Tennessee has a habit of playing up or down to their competition. That scares me. But do I think Tennessee can actually go into Buffalo and win on Monday Night Football? I would say no. So I'm more comfortable taking Buffalo here in some sort of teaser. And they're so high-powered on offense, they can explode at any time. And he just exploded on the Rams, who have a good defense. So I'll go Buffalo here in some sort of teaser. That's pick number 13. Pick number 14. Let's go out to San Francisco, Santa Clara, where the San Francisco 49ers are -9 against the Seattle Seahawks. San Francisco 0-1, lost to Chicago in a dreadful second half performance. I thought Lance was awful throwing the ball in this game. He's big, he can do some things with his leg, but he is not a polished thrower at this point. And I think it was a big mistake to keep Garoppolo on the team because you have a couple more performances like this by Lance, and they're going to want Garoppolo back in. Lance looked very shaky. Remember, he didn't get in a lot last year. I mean, San Francisco had total control of this game and just melted down in the rain. It was like, we've all seen The Wizard of Oz. It was like when Dorothy threw the water on the Wicked Witch of the West and she just melted. That's what happened here to San Francisco. They just melted in the rain in Chicago in the second half. They just fell apart. It was ugly. And this is supposed to be a good San Francisco team. Oh, they looked terrible. They melted down. Running back for San Francisco out 2 months. It's another loss. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks. 1-0, beat Denver. Geno Smith did it. I made fun of him last week. I made fun of him last year. Geno Smith, I send my apologies to you. You played well. You were prepared to play. You had good numbers, had a nice couple of touchdown passes. Team was excited. They were fired up. The crowd was awesome in Seattle. And there were a lot of Denver fans there. A lot of orange in the crowd. The Seattle fans drowned them out. That was old school Seattle fans. They were venomous last night. This was no welcome home Russell Wilson party. There'll be another day for that. It wasn't last night. They had a lot of animosity towards Russell Wilson, and they let him have it. They let him have it. That was a tremendous job by the Seattle Seahawks. Great job by Pete Carroll getting the team ready to play. Defense didn't let Denver in the end zone, held them down to 3 field goals, 3 different times inside the red zone. Defense held strong. I know Seattle did lose Adams. Looks like he's going to be out for a while, if not the whole year. But what a job by Seattle, and what a job by Geno Smith. And I bashed him all last year. Didn't even know he was in the league. Didn't know he played for the Giants. Didn't know he played for the Chargers at one point. When the Jets drafted him, they thought he was going to be a star. He was a bust. He was better last night at this stage of his career than at any point when he was with the New York Jets. He played well. He played better than anyone could have predicted. That was a gritty, gutty, tremendous win by Seattle. And you heard the Geno Smith chants raining down in Seattle. Oh, Russell Wilson, you must have loved that. Talk about egg on your face. Ouch. You came back to Seattle and you lost to Geno Smith and the undermanned Seahawks. And you did it in horrific fashion. And by the way, I owe this to Geno Smith. Geno Smith went to West Virginia University. And every time West Virginia University wins, they play the John Denver song, Country Roads. Geno Smith, this is for you. A few bars from Country Roads. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, take me home. That's for you, Geno Smith, as I just butchered John Denver's song of Country Roads. But I owe that to Geno Smith after all the guff I gave him the last couple of years. He came through in a big way. Great job by Geno Smith. Great job by the Seattle Seahawks. And as far as this game, they got some call making the Niners a 9-point favorite over that, off of that performance last week. Are the Niners going to be able to score 9 points? Now listen, I know they're coming home. They're going to be all fired up. Maybe Lance plays better at home. But 9-point favorite? The way they played against Chicago, who's supposed to be one of the worst teams in the league. And oh, by the way, Seattle just came off a win against a good Denver team. And I know it's going to be tough for Seattle to get up again on the road, blah, 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 short week. On general principle, after last night, I owe it to Seattle and their fans and Geno Smith to take them here. 2-team teaser, I'm moving it to 15, and I'm taking the Hawks to hang around. Geno, I'm a believer. Seattle plus 15 in the two-team teaser against the Niners. That's pick number 14. Pick number 15. Let's go to the frozen tundra in Green Bay, where the Green Bay Packers are minus 9.5 against the Chicago Bears. Green Bay, this is a Sunday night football game, by the way, on NBC. Green Bay 0-1 was just dreadful against Minnesota. Again, the inexperience at receiver came back to bite them. Dropped a short touchdown pass. They get stopped at the goal line. Receivers running all sorts of routes wrong. Rodgers is all upset. This was a terrible performance like Green Bay, but again, they had a terrible performance last year in Week 1, and they ended up having the best record in the NFC. So as Rodgers said, let's calm down. It's just one game. But again, lost his top receiver because he had to take every dime. He's over on the Raiders now. So these young receivers have to step up. We'll see if they can do it. Green Bay is at home, minus 9.5 against Chicago. How about the Bears? They're 1-0, beat San Francisco. The Bears were dead in this game. I mean, lifeless. They were doing nothing in this game. It's 10-0 Niners in the third quarter. It's raining. The crowd is getting antsy. They're starting to boo. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Fields scrambles to his left, throws all the way back to the right to Pettis on like a 3rd and 10, and he goes 50 yards for a touchdown and completely flipped the game. From that point on, the Bears dominated, and the Niners melted away like the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz. And Fields didn't have a great game, by the way. 120 yards, and 50 of them came on that play. And by the way, Michael Wilbon, on PTI needs to calm down. He compared Fields to Steve Young. Oh, please. Oh, please. Michael Wilbon, shut up. I can't stand that show to begin with Kornheiser and Wilbon, but that's ridiculous. Comparing Fields to Steve Young because of one play? Oh, come on. He threw for 120 yards. Let's settle down. And I know Chicago has no offensive line and have a lot of weapons. I'm not going to blame this all on Fields. Let's settle down. He compared him to Steve Young and Fran Tarkenton. Calm down, Wilbon. I know you're a Chicago Kool-Aid lover, but come on. Calm down. He's not Steve Young because of one scramble and pass. My goodness, the way they overhyped these guys after one play. Settle down. As far as this game, listen, I know Chicago won last week. I know Green Bay lost, but I still do not trust the Bears. I think they're still going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and as I mentioned, they have an awful offensive line, they have no weapons, and they cannot score. And I know Green Bay looked awful last week, but they're coming home, and they own the Bears. Rodgers never loses to Chicago. And I don't think he's going to lose to them here on Sunday Night Football. Green Bay is just better than Chicago. This is another one of those 3-team teaser games, 4-team teaser games, super teaser games where you have to think Green Bay is going to win the football game. Hard to think Chicago is going to go to Green Bay with that anemic offense and win on the road. They never beat Green Bay, and they never beat Rodgers. So I'm going Green Bay in either a 3-team teaser, 4-team teaser, super teaser. You got to think they're going to win the football game. Green Bay's pick number 15. By the way, one of my loyal listeners from Chicago, Jim from Chicago, sent me the Super Bowl Shuffle video from the great 1985 Bear team. I had said I hadn't seen the Super Bowl Shuffle video in a while. He sent it to me, so thank you for that video. I'll tell you, that is a great video. What a cast of characters on that team. McMahon, Walter Payton, Dent, Singletary. I mean, the list goes on and on. I love a line from that Super Bowl Shuffle video. It's by Gary Fensick, who was a safety on that team. He was a very clean-cut, mild-mannered guy, but on the field, he had some nasty hits. He was a big-time hitter, and the line that he had in the Super Bowl Shuffle was, "It's Gary here, I'm Mr. Clean. They call me the Hitman, don't know what they mean." Love that line. So thank you for the video. Super Bowl Shuffle, the great 1985 Bear team. And oh, by the way, another reason why the Bears should play outside. You saw it last weekend. In the rain, in the slop, the Bears owned that game. That was Chicago weather. The Niners melted down. Chicago should play outside. I don't want to hear about this new dome stadium. Let's pick number 15. And finally, the last pick number 16. This is the dreaded Thursday Night Football game, which will now be on Amazon Prime, which I will not be getting and not be watching. So I am protesting this pick. I will be protesting Thursday Night Football the rest of the year. So I will not pick this game. I will hand this game off to you. The Kansas City Chiefs are at home -3.5 against the LA Chargers. Chargers are 1-0, beat the Raiders. Allen might not play this week, which would be a huge loss. This is a tough ask for the Chargers. Big division win against the Raiders. Now, a few days later, you got to go all the way to Kansas City and play the Chiefs, and you might not have Allen. This is why I do not like Thursday Night Football. You're making the Chargers on a short week play a division rival in Kansas City. And Los Angeles to Kansas City is not exactly close. And they just came off a big emotional win against the Raiders. Come on, this is bad scheduling by the NFL. This is just the NFL's greed. They want to control another day of the week, so let's put games on Thursday. Let's put them on Thursday, all day Sunday, Sunday night, Monday. Let's play in England, let's play in Italy, let's play in Spain, let's play on the moon, let's play here, there. It's just the NFL being greedy. You're watering down your product. There is no reason for the Chargers to play on Thursday Night Football against the Chiefs this week. And they've done this to the Chargers, it seems, every year. I feel like every year the Chargers are in Kansas City on a Thursday night. That's not good. That's asking too much from the Chargers. It's asking too much from any team. You just played the Raiders. You got to travel on Wednesday. I mean, you're in a game Thursday in Kansas City against one of the best teams in the league. I mean, come on. That's asking a lot. Then you got the Chiefs. They're 1-0, destroyed Arizona. Absolutely destroyed Arizona. And again, like Geno Smith, I owe the Chiefs an apology. I was a little worried them losing Hill, and I think Hill will help the Dolphins, no question about it. But I don't think he's going to hurt Kansas City as much as I thought he did. Kansas City, with Mahomes, they're too well coached, they got a great quarterback, and they plug in guys all over the place. And you saw they added guys to their offense. They lost 3 of their 4 top receivers, but they probably won't miss any of them. They just plug in new guys, and when you have Mahomes and that great coaching staff, and they're always prepared, they put a great game plan together, the Chiefs will be just fine. You saw that last week. They were unstoppable on offense. I thought they might struggle with all these changes. They didn't skip a beat. Didn't miss a beat. Apologies to Kansas City. How dare I doubt them? They're too well coached and they have a great quarterback. They'll find guys to throw them to. They did last week. So as far as this game, listen, I'm protesting the pick, so I'm not officially picking this game. If I had to pick it, I would go money line Kansas City. You have to think on a short week, Kansas City is going to be the Charger team that might be a little short-handed without Allen. I'm not picking it, but I would lean myself to Kansas City if I had to. But I'm not picking the game. I'm protesting it because they have the gall to put this game and the rest of the Thursday night games on Amazon Prime. That's just being greedy, NFL. And that's asking too much of the Chargers this week. Okay, there you go. You're all caught up for week 2. After a wild, woolly, and wacky week 1, we'll see what week 2 brings. It's 9-7 last week. You know me, like a train coming out of the station. I start off slow, and then I get cooking as the season goes on. So we should get better and better with the picks as we move forward. Thanks as always for the support. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Little shuffle pass to end the show. Take care.